So Motorola has launched two new phones today, Moto Edge 20 and Moto Edge 20 Fusion. Now, I've been using the Edge 20 for almost a week now, and trust me, these phones are really exciting. In fact, better than most stock Android options available out there. I'm so excited. It's my nostalgic Motorola moment. Well, this is Pratik. You're already watching TechVisor, and let's go. Now we have both the phones here, and let's quickly get the box out of the way. So straight up, you get the phone with the case on. Nice. They knew you were going to use it with a case. Then some paperwork, and oh, look what do we have here. So this is a 30-watt Motorola turbocharger, but this also is a USB PD charger. Now, in case you don't know, USB PD or USB power delivery is an open fast charging mechanism that can fast charge other USB PD phones, MacBook or a Chromebook, basically anything that supports USB PD. Nice, I like it. Did you know about USB PD? If you didn't, we told you, and I deserve a subscribe and like in return. Subscribe to TechVisor to stay wiser, my friend. So I'll talk about Edge 20 mostly, but whenever necessary, I'll include the Edge 20 Fusion as well. And mostly the software on both the phones is same with a lot of exciting software features. We'll talk about it soon. But first, let's move on to the build of the phone. The Edge 20 has a USB-C port at the bottom, single speaker and a SIM card slot. No headphone jack, sorry. The Edge 20 Fusion has a headphone jack. You also get a volume rocker on the right, power button cum fingerprint scanner, and if you know me, I like physical fingerprint scanner more than under display. I'll tell you the reason in a moment. Anyways, a secondary noise cancellation mic at the top and a Google Assistant button on the left. Now, there's no way to remap the Google Assistant button. Motorola should have provided that internally. Small request. Edge 20 doesn't have the SD card slot, whereas the cheaper Edge 20 Fusion has a SD card slot. There's also a third noise cancellation mic on Edge 20 here, right besides the camera. The back on both the devices is plastic, but it's matte finish, so it looks good. And you also have a polycarbonate frame, but that helps Motorola to reduce weight. And as you can see, the Edge 20 is at 165 grams and the Edge 20 Fusion is around 185 grams because of the slightly larger 5000 mAh battery. I like it. The previous Moto phones were really heavy, but these are super handy. And you also get IP52 water resistance on both the phones, so it will be able to handle rainfall. Now the displays are really interesting. The Edge 20 has a 10-bit 144Hz OLED display with 576Hz touch sampling rate, whereas the Edge 20 Fusion has a 90Hz 10-bit OLED display. You get Corning Gorilla Glass 3 on Edge 20, and I'm not sure about the protection on Edge 20 Fusion. We'll update you on that one. Now, as I've told you, refresh rate beyond 90Hz doesn't matter that much unless you are gaming. Let me show you. As you can see, when I swipe through Twitter, in camera, you can see the difference between 90Hz and 144Hz, but your eyes are not camera. So again, unless you're gaming, hardly any difference between 90Hz and 144Hz. But what matters is touch sampling rate. And here, if you see, there's an app, and if I draw multiple times on both the phones at the same time, the Edge 20 can accept more touches. You see, the line has more dots, meaning more touches. So if you're a hardcore gamer, consider this. Due to higher touch sampling rate, better shooting, pew pew pew. Now the real difference between the phones are the processor. The Edge 20 Fusion comes with Dimensity 800U and the Moto Edge 20 comes with Snapdragon 778G for the first time. It's a new processor. Now I did a CPU throttling test, no extreme throttling in any case in both of the phones. Now Snapdragon 778G is a new processor and you can consider it to be around MediaTek Dimensity 1200 equivalent. I'll talk more about it in the full review and after more testing. But as of now, you can play BGMI in smooth graphics, extreme frame rate, and as you can see, it's really fun to play with. You can push it to HDR graphics, but then you get medium frame rates. Now the camera is a bigger difference in both the Moto phones. Both of them have a 108 megapixel primary sensor, but the wide angle / macro camera is 16 megapixel on Moto Edge 20 and only 8 megapixel on the cheaper Moto Edge 20 Fusion. The sweet thing is you get a 8 megapixel 3x telephoto camera on Moto Edge 20, which is thumbs up in my opinion, well worth the price. And that's why you also have an extra microphone besides the camera to boost and record 3 times zoom videos. Good one. Now let's take a quick photo of Baby Yoda. As you can see, the colors are really natural, but here are some more samples from both the phones. Here's a side-by-side image of the wide-angle camera main sensor and the 3x telephoto sensor on the Moto Edge 20. As I told you, both of them have pre-release software. It's very early to judge as of now. We'll see more about it in the full review. Finally, the software. Oh my god. There's absolutely no ads or any bloatware on these phones. Like, I had to install Amazon and Netflix to check Widevine L1. By the way, supported on both. But it's the first time I had to install Amazon and Netflix on a smartphone. Goes to say how much cleaner the Android experience is here. Now, you might be aware of the usual Motorola gestures like chop chop to open the flashlight. It's cool. Twist to open the camera. All those are still here. But here's an interesting one. You can double tap on the fingerprint sensor to open a dock, from where you can launch any app of your choice quickly. Like here, I'm on Twitter, I can tap to launch YouTube quickly. Just 2 taps. And by the way, if you can see, subscribe kijiye Hindi channel ko. So that's why I told you in the beginning, like, I love side-mounted fingerprint sensor. They are fast, plus you can customize them. More customizations, more functionality. Now there's a really cool thing with Motorola recently. Suppose your laptop has a very bad webcam. All you have to do is connect your Motorola phone with a USB cable, select on the phone to use as a webcam, open Google Meet, and bam! You can use your Motorola phone as a webcam. Damn! I did a webcam video and I told you to install an app. Motorola phones do this natively. Thank you for killing my trick. The DeX that you see on Samsung flagship phones, it's there on these Motorola Edge phones. So Motorola Ready For is really legit and exciting. Here, all you have to do is connect your phone with a USB-C cable, open the Ready For Assistant app, you get a QR code, and then just scan it on your phone, connecting to PC, 3, 2, 1, there you go. So the desktop mode for Ready For is only 720p at the moment, so you cannot go full screen. And you can use your keyboard to move around and the mouse to just see around yourself. This is so cool to play on the mouse. Well, some of the controls are not mapped. It's better if you use a controller, connect the controller to your Windows PC and have a better experience. And you can multitask at the same time and even watch YouTube videos. Also, on top of it, Motorola is promising 2 years of Android updates as well. There you go. Probably the best Android experience you could ask for on any budget Android or mid-range phones. Now you also get 13 5G bands on Motorola Edge 20 and 11 bands on Motorola Edge 20 Fusion. By the way, I'm not a fan of having more 5G bands like 10, 11, but Motorola is not even advertising it, so good job in that case. Now in terms of 4G plus carrier aggregation, I could see that the app NetMonster shows it using 3 or as well as 4 4G bands, but there was no LTE plus logo at the top. I've asked Motorola about this and I'll update accordingly. And there's also all of the sensors, gyroscope, NFC, etc. Also, both of them have Google dialer, so you'll get this warning while call recording.
Call is now being recorded.
And there's no way to bypass that warning in call recording unless you root your phone. Now, to summarize it all up, the Moto Edge 20 and Edge 20 Fusion seems like a really good phone. I want these types of stock Android phones in the Indian market. Like if you care about ad-free and clean software experience, whereas the display, 5G, low weight and everything else are added bonus. What do you think about the Moto Edge series? The Edge 20 Fusion should launch around 21,000 and the Edge 20 should launch around 30,000. In my opinion, and it's an opinion, I would rate it a bit higher than Nord phones. But anyways, it's just my first impression of these phones. Let me know what comparisons you want to see, plus which one of them do you want me to review. On that note, it's Prateek signing off. See you soon.